The goal of my team going to the Arctic, specifically in northern Alaska in a town called Utqiagvik, is overall to look at greenhouse gas exchange across the tundra. Primarily with how greenhouse gases are exchanged between the tundra and the atmosphere and what different dynamics influence the rates of gas exchange.
In the Arctic, we have been measuring fluxes across more than 2 decades. So one of the main goals of our projects are establishing a baseline of how these ecosystems have been responding to climate change to be able to predict how they will respond to further changes in the climate.
There's this whole cycle that forms the landscape based on the permafrost. There's been long-term monitoring of greenhouse gases focusing on CO2, carbon dioxide, and methane, but not much on nitrous oxide. And we found a strong signal of this greenhouse gas N2O, which has a global warming potential that's about 273 times of carbon dioxide.
N2O has been considered for many years something it's not very important in the Arctic, but when we measure several of these more disturbed features, you can have a substantial emission of this N2O. That's what we found.
So it's been quite interesting to see that there is a signal of this greenhouse gas in the Arctic. That was the starting point as to why we wanted to look at these mounds and why we think it's important.
This summer, we got to access more sites via helicopter, and so we were traveling around 50 miles south of the Utqiagvik area and accessing sites from there.
Very difficult accessing your sites in the tundra with all of your equipment. So I was really excited that I could have the support of going to different areas that had not really been visited before.
It's just an amazing ecosystem, and it's just so different from what we are used to. There is no development for hundreds of miles.
Because we are the only people that we're seeing out there. And so it's just us and the plants and our field equipment and the birds and the occasional caribou. And it's a really peaceful working environment.
My connection deepens to nature, and it also deepens to humanity in that sense. Even though we are going to very desolate places, it gives me this understanding that we're all part of a bigger picture.
Interaction with the native community, it's really important because we really need to be able to understand what's affecting them and also be respectful of their traditions and also the areas that are sacred to them.
Very important that we work together with local communities and collaborate with local communities in any type of research environment.
We are coming into their land to do our work, and so we want to first respect them, and how can we make sure we're minimizing the effect that we have on things that might affect the community.
I hope that the impact of our research findings that we're doing here is that, most importantly, to protect ecosystems, but also just gain more understanding and appreciation for the ecosystem, especially the Arctic.
I think there's potential for it to enhance what we know about these common landforms in this region and hopefully help Arctic research as the landscape continues to change.